So we are starting with our next session. Let me call upon Mr. Baiju Parshuraman, Business Director, Dynamic Battery, Separator India Private Limited. He would be presenting on topic Advances in Lithium-ion Battery Separator Technology.
So, my name is Baiju Parashuraman, and I represent a company called Asahi Kasai. And thanks for inviting me for this session, and thanks for attending this session. So, for the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'll be talking about the advancement of battery separators in lithium-ion batteries. Of course, this can be also used for other technologies like sodium-ion. So, I'll be focusing more on the lithium-ion battery separators and our product range and the advancement which has happened in the last so many years. The contents what you want to present is basically, I would like to give an introduction for Asahi Kasai, is our company that I'm representing, and then the significance of battery separators in lithium-ion batteries, and the battery separator offering from Asahi Kasai, and we will do a deep dive into the CellGuard product range. That is one of the products that Asahi Kasai is offering for lithium-ion batteries, and then the various finishing that people are using for on the separators for advancement of the performance. So these are the topics I would like to cover in the next 15 minutes. So the first to talk about Asahi Kasai. Asahi Kasai is a Tokyo-based company, and it is having almost like 13 with this head office in Tokyo, and we have close to around 49,000 people working all around the globe. And if you look at the financials, it is having a strong financials, it is having a profitability of more than $1 billion. And Asahi Kasai is having three major divisions. One is materials, homes and healthcare. And materials contribute to almost 48% of the total revenue. And our division of separators, which falls into the materials division of Asahi Kasai, and we are providing solutions for battery storage and environment solutions in that particular division. So let us understand what is battery separators. So battery separators are thin films which actually isolate between the anodes and cathode inside the lithium-ion batteries. Even though it is a very thin, very less cost compared to the bill of materials, it is very, very important bill of materials in batteries. And you know that this is very thin, maybe around 20 to 25 micron to maximum. So that is the thickness of the battery separators that we are supplying. And if you look at the major characteristics of battery separators, it should provide an insulation between anode and cathode. It isolates anode and cathode. And it is also a porous in nature, so it freely allows ions to move through from an anode to cathode. And it act like a thermal fuse that I'm going to cover in the next couple of slides, that how the separator can prevent a kind of a thermal runaway or explosion in the battery. So that I'm going to cover it in a couple of slides. And it also, since it is very thin, the separator need to be mechanically stable in terms of handling the high-speed manufacturing which is happening in this country. So to talk about the product range that we are offering, we are into battery separators. We have two different segments of battery separators. One is lead-acid batteries, so that we are covering with Dynamic product range. So Dynamic manufacture lead-acid batteries, and Dynamic is already having a battery plant in India, and we are having based out of Dahej in Gujarat, and we are supplying to major lead-acid battery manufacturers in India. And then we have the CellGuard and high-power range of battery separators. These are all the product range we are offering for lithium-ion batteries. And this company I will be talking about, and CellGuard is manufacturing battery separators in dry process, and high-power we are manufacturing in wet process. So traditionally, most of the industry, lithium-ion industry, using a wet process manufacturing separators. And today's discussion, we will be focusing more on the dry process or CellGuard brand of separators, which is more economical, cost-effective, and environment-friendly separators for lithium-ion batteries. So today, to summarize that, Asahi Kasai is one of the leading manufacturers, and we hold a good amount of market share in battery separators, either lead-acid or lithium-ion. So let us go in detail about the CellGuard process, dry process separators. So I would like to briefly introduce about the cell guard product range. The cell guard has started in 1970s, and every 10 years we have been doing advancement in terms of battery separators, adding more plants and increasing our capabilities. And in 1980, we started our first plant in North Carolina. And in 1980s, we have made a tri-layer, which I'm going to talk about in a couple of minutes. We introduced a tri-layer in the market. And 2000, we had the first expansion in Carolina. And 2010, we started our new plant in Concord. And 2020, we extended our operations to Asia. Now we have a new plant which is coming out, which is already functional in China, which is producing dry separators, which is catering for the Asian market. So since it's a global company, we have presence across the globe. As you said, that we have 2 plants in America producing the dry separators, and we have 1 plant in China which is producing the dry separators, which is based out of Shanghai. We have sales and marketing offices across the globe. In Japan, we have in China, we have in India, we have also in US. And we are catering to major automobile and ESS manufacturers, EV and ESS manufacturers, supplying separators for their battery application needs across the globe. So this is a kind of a process flow diagram for the dry manufacturing. If you look at the wet manufacturing, it's very, very complicated. It has to be a very long line, and it has to be heavy investments. But in the case of a dry manufacturing, it is very compact. And if you look at it, it starts from extrusion of the polypropylene material. That is what we are using it for the dry separators. And after that, we are going to have a very critical process called annealing and stretching. So this process basically generates the pores in the battery separators. It is a batch process. We put multiple layer in the stretching process to get the porosity of that. And after that, since it is a batch process, we have to deploy it into individual rolls. And then if the design calls for coating, then it will be go for coating and then slitting and supplying it. The advantage of this process is you can able to modularize of this manufacturing. So if any of these industries needs to be, the operation has to be moved across to India, we can either shift the coating or we can shift the slitting line over here and start manufacturing and creating a value addition in India. So coming to what is the uniqueness of the dry separators is basically the lamellar nature. You have seen that this pore formation is basically by stretching the polypropylene in one direction. So when you stretch the polypropylene in one direction, it actually forms a pillar which gives a high mechanical strength for the separators, and also the pores which is formed by the elongation of the separators. So it is a combination of porosity versus the mechanical strength, which gives the property of the separator to withstand high amount of strength inside the cells. So this is what you can see, the lamellar structure. You have the pores, and we have the pillars which is coming across. So what is the advantage of this kind of dry separators? One of the advantage of the dry separators, you can laminate this material. That means you can put multiple layer of films together. For example, if you want to put a polyethylene film and you wanted to put 2 polypropylene film, it is possible. The total thickness that we can do is across to around 12 micron. The minimum thickness we can do is 12 micron. That means we can put 4 micron each of this separator. And the advantage of the separators, the tri-layer separators we are calling for, is basically the polyethylene membrane which will get melted up at the lower temperature, so that it will stop the migration of ions from the anode to cathode. So it will act as a fuse, so that in case of a thermal event, it can totally isolate the anodes and cathode, and so that it will protect the fires which is happening inside the cells. That is one of the advantage. The second advantage is, since it is having multiple layers, the migration of the dendrites can be minimized quite a lot, because the dendrite has to pass through multiple layers, so it can be minimized quite a lot. So these are the 2 major advantage of the multi-layer separators. It is possible only with dry separators, and it cannot be done with the wet separators. So lastly, we will talk about the separator finishing. So you might be heard in the industry, people are talking about coating, ceramic coating on the separators or special coating on the separator. That is what we are going to touch upon. As polypropylene is basically having a higher oxidation resistance compared to polyethylene. So this separator can be used without even coating. But some of the critical application when people ask for coating, and we also have a facility to coat these separators for typical application. This is what I'm going to talk about in the next slides. So when I look at the coating, they have ceramic coating brings a lot of advantage. One is it allows the designer to design the cells with higher energy density, because ceramic can able to withstand about high energy density. And the second thing is basically the thermal runaway, reducing the thermal runaway. So ceramic can dissipate the temperature to wider area, so that there won't be any hot spot which will be generating, so that it will not get the separator damaged or shorting will happen. And the third thing is it can avoid dendrite growth, because it has to pass through ceramic. It is going to take more time, so it can delay the dendrite growth of inside the cells. And ceramic is also a very good oxidation resistant, so it will give a higher life. For higher cycling, we prefer to go for a ceramic coated separators. Being said that, we also can do two-side or single-side ceramic coating as per what customer requirement is. And the next coating that we would like to introduce is on adhesive coatings. You might have heard that most of the companies now moving across for prismatic or for pouch cells. When you have a prismatic or pouch cells in a high volume manufacturing, what is happening is there may be chances that the plates will get shifted away from the separators and expose it, which is causing shorting of these cells. So adhesive separators can hold the plates to the right position, so that the plate will not get exposed, and so that the your yield can go up. You can see from the diagram saying that stacking process without adhesive coatings, it may be moving here and there. But if we are looking at with ceramic coated separator, it will be the PVDF coated separator, or it will be well intact in the winding, so that your yield can be improved quite a lot. So the lamination speed can be met, and you have very less rejection if you are using a PVDF coating. The PVDF coating is not very thick. It is maybe as low as 0.0 to 0.3 micrometer, and so that it can be either incorporated along with the ceramic coating, or it can be done with the special on the top of ceramic coating. So normally polypropylene is not very hydrophilic, and it is hydrophobic. So now advancement has gone into the separators, so we can able to make the separator hydrophilic. So the recent coating technologies that we have adopted, our separators can increase the water wettability by 30%. So now it can increase the performance and can be used for other battery technologies like or sodium ion, and most of the other high energy density lithium ion batteries, which calls for higher wettability. So this can drastically reduce the electrolyte filling time and increase the performance of the lithium ion batteries. And to summarize, the cell guard will have the ability of doing a multi-layer separators, that polyethylene sandwich between the polypropylene to give a tri-layer, and it is also can eliminate, it also can do a multi-layer polypropylene, so that to reduce dendrite shorts and act as a fuse. And it also can have a ceramic coating for improving the cell performance, adhesive coating and PVDF for basically to increase the reliability, faster assembly and speed, and reducing the rejection rates. And we also have specialty separators which can increase the wettability of the separators. So I would say that, if you are looking at a dry separators, it is more cost effective for Indian market, because it is cheaper than compared to the wet separators, and it can use without coating. And the capex wise, it is lower compared to the wet separators. For a wet separators lines, you need to have a 15 gigawatt hour of total requirement to start up a complete line. And for dry separators, it is closing something around 8 to 10 gigawatt hour, we can start a line. And also it can be modular, so that you can bring some of the operations much earlier, like slitting or coating before the line, so that you can get some value addition in India. So that is what we are trying to see, whether the customers can able to incorporate the separators in their design, and we can able to start manufacturing in India. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baiju.